Hey guys, so a couple of months ago I made a how to sound like Mick Gordon video and you guys seemed to like it, but there was a lot of guitars in that track and I'm hearing more and more Argent metal that is purely digital, so today that's what I'm challenging myself to do. We're going to try to make an awesome Argent metal track using just a laptop. These guys back here are going to be completely off limits. Let's see if we can do it. So to start off, I want to put together an intro before we drop it and get super heavy. And Argent metal intros are always really atmospheric and cinematic and ominous, and I have the perfect plugins to show you for getting those vibes. Big thank you to Cradle for sending me their new State Machine plugins and sponsoring today's video. You guys know by now I only do sponsors for products I know you're really going to want to see. And these things, not only are they just super fun to play with, but also if you're not an expert in sound design, they're kind of like a more user-friendly approach to synthesis and sound design. So let me show you what these can do. So this is shadow structures, and straight off the bat, these presets just sound insane. Honestly, let's use that first one. I'm just going to lay down like a pulse with this. We're at 98 beats per minute. Super atmospheric. Love it. Okay, so that's like a bassy pulse to start with, but between those notes, let's add something with a little more movement and energy. And you can see here, we can blend two sounds together. So I'm going to put this fully to the left. Something a little more chill. Okay, that's cool. And on the right, something kind of atmospheric. Let's try that. Maybe if we like low pass it down. A little too much reverb. Let's bring down the release. Let's up the vibrato a bit on the LFO. And I just want to finish this sound off with, yeah, like some nice high mid-range focus. Let's lay that down. Okay, bring it down an octave. Nice. And a couple of bars in here, let's start building some tension with the high lead sound. And for this, I'm going to use Chrome 2000, another State Machine, and one of my favorite looking plugins. This is so Y2K. So we're looking for some kind of harsh Argent metal lead sound. Oh, already that one's good. For the second sound, that could be kind of cool. Let's whack up the modulation here, and you can choose whether that's a phaser or a chorus. I'm going to go for a phaser, and let's make it pretty intense. Okay, that's close to what I want. Let's just make it really aggressive with some decapitator. Ooh, that's a little too much. Evil. Okay, maybe this fourth thing is a little repetitive, so let's try putting this on another Chrome 2000 sound. I really want to go for like a Doom style supersaw, and you can see I've got some favorited. Ooh, that's close. Okay, maybe if we transpose that one up an octave. Let's turn on the modulation and make that a chorus. Let's lose all of the low end in this one. We don't need any of that. And then boost the highs so it's super harsh. Okay, let's try that. So that's the fourth repetition, just to change things up. So Doom. Let's play with this jet plane preset too. It's very Argent as well. That's cool. Do you see how we're just building a vibe here, layering more and more things, so it's getting more and more tense, and we're just ready for that drop in a minute? So halfway through this intro, I'm thinking we'll bring in a pulsing kick drum, and I'm going to use my usual, the UGen Berserk dubstep kit. Yeah, let's use that one. So we'll just have it on the beat, repeated, and let's make these really, really soft, and let's have it so it kind of goes from quiet to loud. Okay, we're nearly done with the intro now. I just want to layer a couple more bass sounds quickly. Firstly, this one, just for that one note, but listen how this finishes things off for us. Okay, and this is State Machine low end. I want to use this sound from this plugin to just keep adding more and more movement throughout the intro. Let's do it. We are so ready for this to drop. Okay, the last thing I'm going to do in the intro here is just tease our main riff with this sound. We're going to be dropping this into a super heavy chromatic riff, so I want to kind of make the vibe feel a little off before we do that, so it doesn't like come out of nowhere and we're kind of expecting something chromatic. Okay, I'm happy with the intro. Let's drop it and get heavy. And I'm going to start again with the Berserk kit. But this time, instead of just a kick drum, we're going to lay down a proper beat and get it grooving. I'm going to start with a snare. Let's delay that first count, not have any kick drum here. That's actually a huge trick if you want to make something hit harder. Delay the beat by a count. Like, just stay with me and you'll see in a second why that's such an effective thing to do. So let's make this bounce. Okay, that's already bouncing, but I'm going to layer that with modern and massive too, so we get this kind of hybrid digital metal sound. Let's just keep it simple. Let's go for a kick on the first count and nothing else because we're leaving that first count empty, remember? Then let's start hitting the crashes. And we follow the same kick pattern. There we go. And we can still take that further with some samples. I think I want to add my explosion sample. Maybe let's add maybe that cymbal just to make the first count more explosive. But most importantly, I want to layer like a modern hard pop snare. This snare sounds a little too metal to me. Ooh. Let's go for that one. Okay, let's try this. Listen to that snare, that is hitting now. Now these are sounding like Argent metal drums. Okay, so what I want to do on top of these drums is start building a wall of sound for our riff. That's mainly going to be a case of stacking different synth sounds, but I actually want to start by programming in some guitars using Odin 3. The awesome guys at Solemn Tones sent me this a while back, and honestly, I've never programmed guitars before, but this thing sounds really impressive for this style of music. I just have some OTT and EQ on it to kind of make it pop, so without those, and then with just really getting it clean and modern. So let's lay down a riff. Remember I said back here we were teasing the riff? Those pitch bends are such an important part of Argent metal, and I don't know if people like Mick Gordon would tell you the same thing, but to me, that's something that comes from like dubstep and Skrillex back in like 2011. I feel like that kind of popularized this, and then pitch bends have just become such a huge thing in modern metal, and especially in Argent metal. I mean, it just sounds so wrong and so nasty and so alien. I love that this genre just breaks all the rules of how you write a melody. Okay, so anyway, we have some guitars, but we want to start stacking up some synth sounds to create this wall of sound that we hear in Argent metal. And this is where we're going to get kind of into mad scientist mode, but stay with me because it's going to make sense. And if you saw my last Argent metal video, it's going to be kind of the same approach, where we're basically layering different distorted synth sounds to kind of get something that's guitar-like, but also goes beyond just what a guitar can do and takes it more into the digital realm. So the way that I'm going to start with that is I'm just going to copy that MIDI across and put it on this sine track you can see, Vital Sine. And this is just a standard and very simple sub bass. Doesn't sound that interesting, but that's going to fill out those sub frequencies for us. Just helps the mix to feel more full. Okay, and after that, we're going to have two more synth sounds. Firstly, it's going to be the guitar synth preset that I used in the last Argent metal video. The Vital presets from that video are in the description for $2, by the way, so check that out. And I broke down this sound a little bit in that video, but it's essentially me trying to make a synth sound very guitar-like so that it's kind of like a digital guitar. It's very much filling the mid-range like a guitar does, and this is just going to blend in with that Odin track to kind of give us that hybrid digital guitar sound. But the real star of this track, in my opinion, is going to be this one that I've called Vital Harsh Synth because it is very, very harsh. And this one is much more intense, much more dubstep. We have weird formant filtering going on. You can see here I'm modulating the frame of the wavetable. We have linear fold distortion. We have a comb filter. I don't want to get too technical here, but yeah, this is a very intense sound. A lot of people have been asking me for a deeper dive on the whole Vital Synth stuff, so I'm just going to quietly announce right now that my next online course I'm going to be releasing is going to be all about diving deeper into how we use synths in modern metal. So keep an eye on the channel over the next couple of months if you're interested in that. But coming back to this sound, this one is basically all about the high end. It's going to sit on top of those other sounds. So we essentially have Odin just to kind of add the texture of a guitar there. We have the sine synth to fill in those sub bass frequencies. We have the guitar synth to add this digital mid-range sound. And then we have the harsh one, which is mostly about the high end and how it has that filtering and that cyber sound to really give it like a dubstep kind of sound. So all together, our Argent metal wall of sound sounds like this. You see why we're delaying that first count now? Listen how hard that hits. And we're going to make that hit even harder now. We can sprinkle some other things on top of this wall of sound without messing it up. Let's go back to that jet plane preset in Chrome 2000. I want to fill in those gaps to make this hit harder and add some more pitch bends. Didn't I tell you pitch bends are the secret to Argent metal? Listen how digital and robotic that makes this sound. Okay, let's use this drunk dystopian preset in shadow structures to just layer that. Just kind of thicken up those pitch bends. That sounds so good. Okay, I'm super happy with our drop now. Let's just add a quick bridge so we can get a little bit atmospheric again and build towards a second drop. Let's try this sound with low end. This sounds awesome. Let's just copy over the MIDI and put it on this low end track so we get... That is nasty. Let's get some industrial percussion going on that. I'm going to use damage because this thing always delivers. Ooh. Let's find a loop. Ooh. Let's try that. That's so doom. Let's run it through Decapitator as well. We could make this more aggressive. Too much. I kind of like it. Okay, and let's bring back the Odin guitar like halfway through, but maybe let's go in and cut things up like this. All right, I think I want to finish that part off with, you remember this sound? Let's just take our main riff and put it up here. So suddenly halfway through this bridge, it's going to ramp up, get more intense. Hell yes. All right, I'm going to copy and paste the drop like this, and some people are going to hate on me for this. There you go. There's a second drop. I mean, we can change a couple of things. Maybe we have some guitar notes on the first count where we're leaving it all empty. Let's switch up the drums a little as well. I'm going to lose these cymbals and add some offbeat hi-hats, but I'm not going to show you that right now. Okay, that's going to sound awesome. I'm going to show you the full track in a second so you can listen out for that then. But these offbeat hats are going to make that riff hit so hard, I know it. So there we go, guys. I think we've done it. I don't think I've ever made a full metal track before without touching a real instrument. But honestly, I think we can call this experiment a success. I am super happy with this track. It hits so hard. It has all the elements I want it to have. But anyway, I'll let you guys judge it for yourself when you hear the whole thing in a second. As always, thank you so much for watching if you made it this far. And if you want to get the deepest dive possible from me on making an entire track from start to finish, go check out my Modern Metal Pro course in the description. I put all of my secrets in there. It's over 7 hours long, so go take a look. Please consider hitting the like if you enjoyed this video, subscribe if you want more content like this, and I'll see you in the next one.